Maha. So, a very good morning to all our viewers. I'm Neha Bhan. You're watching today's Page One. I'm also joined by my colleague Nancy Bora on today's show. Well, what we do in this show essentially is we take a look at what's really making the headlines. So, to speak about the headlines, we in fact have an update coming in from Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district. An exchange of fire started on Monday night in Rajouri's Kala Kot between militants and security forces. The operations in the area are being led by the army. The number of militants hiding in the area could not be ascertained immediately. Now, sources have said that the militants were hiding in a forest area. Meanwhile, additional security personnel were dispatched to the area and further seal off the encounter to, in fact, ensure that the militants do not escape. Their technology is also being used to seek out the terrorists who are hiding in the forest. That's in fact the latest update that's coming in from Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district, where an exchange of fire, an encounter has started on Monday night. This is taking place in Rajouri's Kala Kot. The encounter is said to be underway between militants and security forces. In fact, operations in the area are being led by the army. The entire area has been cordoned off, and this is a joint operation by the Indian Army and the J&K police that was launched in the area of Kala Kot. Intense counter-terror operations is in fact ongoing in Kala Kot, Jammu and Kashmir. The security forces are suspecting presence of armed terrorists, is what we're given to believe.
Well, Neha, after what happened in Anantnag, the south of Kashmir, Pir Panjal area, Rajouri area, they have, terror activities have been on the rise since for the past few years now. And when, we were covering the Anantnag story, we were talking about statistics there. It appears to be that even though the recruitment process has gone down to a good amount, but the terror activities has risen up. So that is going to be, that was a concern for the J&K police there as well. And after what happened in Anantnag, and I think when the Anantnag encounter happened on the same day or the day before, there was an encounter in Rajouri as well. So these terror activities are on the rise, and I think it's really good that the J&K police is, being so prompt and responding to it like that. I think, this intense military operations, because the moment they get the intel, it's really important to succumb to them, because on the story list today we also have a story of 3 terrorists who were who are engineers. One is passed out from Jamia University. So we have to be very careful with the terrorists now, because they are educated enough, they are trained enough, they are professionals now.
That's been the case from the beginning,
to
speak. And also, Nancy, it's important to note that post the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019, there has been a steep decline in terrorist activities. Of course, Pakistan would try its best to resort to certain other acts and try to push terrorists into the Indian territory. But truth be told, the terrorism activities or the infiltration bids or terrorism as a whole has seen a steep decline post the abrogation of Article 370. You got to give it to the security forces, the army, the J&K police, and due to their relentless efforts, I think normalcy is very close to returning in Kashmir. There have been so many things that have been taking place, or even Rajouri. In January we had a massive terror attack that took place, in Rajouri. Many people lost their lives. Over 12 people lost their lives.
Definitely.
And then, in Rajouri also, you have to understand that, people are, they've been trained. Basically, there are village defense committees that were essentially, set up by the former
locals,
DGP SP Vaid. So they, the locals are trained. They have arms, they have ammunition. So they've been trained to kind of, protect themselves. So I think that's a very...
Well, that is not an ideal situation for a state, but I think to control what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir, to bring back normalcy that we talk about, I think it's important, but yet, these activities are still on the surge. We cannot, it's the harsh reality. And I was also talking about it, we were really mourning the deaths of the 3 brave hearts that we lost in the Anantnag encounter. But it's you know, it's a price that we had to pay so that we can bring back normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir, and it is definitely important for us to, you know, understand what the JNK police has been going through and why are they acting so promptly. So intense military operations are going on. I hope they come up with an outcome. I hope the intel that they are getting, and I hope the outcome of this special military operation is in the favor of the people of Jammu Kashmir and the people of India.
Right, you know, these stray incidents kind of keep happening. Of course, like you mentioned, the Anantnag incident was indeed very tragic. It shouldn't have happened. But then, you know, the security forces are also relentlessly working to ensure that the people in the state, or, you know, are kind of, they have a sound sleep, even though, you know, they would be guarding our borders. So here, what we also need to understand at what's been happening in Kalakot, in Rajouri's Kalakot, Jammu and Kashmir, is the security forces, you know, they believe that there are 2 to 3 armed terrorists. Now, technology also is being used to kind of, you know, understand where exactly are they, you know, to nab them. The entire area has been cordoned off. So these are, you know, the operations, in fact, in the area are being led by the army, but it's a joint operation. So the number of, you know, militants, they're hiding in the area, although it could not be ascertained immediately, but then our sources are saying that the army believes that, you know, the security forces believe that there are 2 to 3 armed terrorists who are holed up in the area.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
We can just hope that, you know, this military operation, you know, it gives us a positive outcome, and terror activities in Jammu and Kashmir, it needs to get controlled. JNK police's, you know, this prompt response, this intense operation that has been going on, I think this is a price we had to pay to bring back normalcy in Kashmir, but this is a harsh reality that we are facing right now. But I think it is also important for us to, you know, support the Jammu Kashmir police, and let's just wait and watch what happens in the encounter, and I hope that, you know, it's a win for the
it will
JNK
definitely be a win,
police.
you know, given that you know, the army, the security forces are already on the job. Now here, the search operation, in fact, it started off as a search operation, Nancy, but then soon turned into an encounter late in the evening. That's when terrorists hiding in the area are said to have opened fire on the forces. Now, this was in an attempt to break the cordon. That's what, you know, the various reports are in fact suggesting. Moving on to the biggest story of the day, that is the Bihar census. In fact, the Bihar government has released its statistical data on the caste-based headcount done in the state this year. We're going to read out, Nancy, actually, you know, this time let's just read how it has been covered by the Times of India, by the Indian Express, by the Hindustan Times, before we kind of, you know, get into that discussion mode, because, you know, it's the biggest story, honestly, and it is possibly the biggest story of the week.
Yeah.
So let's just see how it has been covered. This was the exercise that we used to do back in college. You know, we were supposed to just kind of pick up the newspaper, see how it has been covered, particularly stress on the headline. But yeah, let's just kind of, you know, take a look at how it has been covered. So I'm going to read from the Times of India, and it says OBC, EBC, SC, ST make up 85% of Bihar's population. Now, the Bihar government released its statistical data on the caste-based headcount done in the state this year, which may have significant implications for Bihar's electoral politics in days to come. The data shows that the politically sensitive 113 caste group known as the extremely backward classes constitute the largest portion at 36%, along with the other backward classes at 27%, which amounts to 63% of the total 13.07 crore population of the state, and together they constitute the social hefty segment of backward classes. Now, interestingly here, Muslims constitute 17.7% of the state's population, comprising 12.9% from backward classes and 4.8% upper caste Muslims. Now, you know, before I kind of, you know, go back to our discussion, but but I'd like you to
definitely
see how it has been covered in the Indian Express.
Well, I was reading about it in the Indian Express, and it says that Bihar puts number to its caste. EBC at 36%, push OBC count to 63%, which is an important debate. You know, the debate of the 50% limit that you have on every state of the caste census, which is going to be that is going to spark the debate again. And I was just reading about it. One interesting angle that I think was the most important was that Bihar data can reopen debate on the SCs. 50% quota ceiling that was decided in 1992, and this whole caste census is going to bring back Nitish in his game, and it's what's reported in Indian Express as well, that counting the gains, how the survey puts Nitish back in focus, because we have to understand that caste politics for Nitish Kumar has been one of the most, that is how he has reformed, that is how he has woven his politics
Nancy, you're
around.
Again going to the discussion. I told you to just stick to how it has been covered first before we discuss. So, in fact, here is how the Hindu has covered it. It says that at 36%, EBC's largest group in Bihar shows caste study. Months away from the Lok Sabha election in 2024, the Bihar government on Monday released the report of a caste survey conducted in the state, saying it's only compiled data and no analysis of it has been done yet. That's a very clever statement. Okay, I'm also getting into the discussion mode of it. I'm just quickly going to, in fact, read out how the Hindu has quoted the Bihar Chief Minister as saying, today on the auspicious occasion of Gandhi Jayanti, the data of caste-based census conducted in Bihar have been published. The proposal for the survey was passed unanimously in the legislature. All 9 political parties in the assembly will now be called for a meeting to apprise them of the report. Here, of course, the Hindu has also given the caste breakdown, which more or less has already been covered. Now, coming to the discussion point of it, Nancy, you have to, of course, like you rightly said, this was the elephant in the room, so so to speak. So here, Nitish Kumar and the RJD, RJD and the JDU, they and the other opposition parties, they've been demanding it for a long time. Definitely. And now a demand has also been put forth for a nationwide caste census. So here, 9 months, just 9 months away from the election. So here is, a caste-based census, so-called caste-based census that's been put out. And here it tells you, which it gives the opposition a very good chance to focus on the constituencies that they think they have strong hold on. For example, the Yadavs, for example, the Muslims. So it also kind of puts the BJP on the back foot, because, it would, because, it would not be kind of, in fact, so in fact the BJP has been often accused of engaging in religious polarization, or so the polarization as a whole. So here what it does is that it gives the opposition an idea that here is for example, this segment, this constituency is where there are these many number of OBCs, or these many numbers of SCs, or these many numbers of STs, or Yadavs, or whoever, then what it does is it gives the opposition a fair bit of idea that these are the constituencies which we need to focus on. Definitely. For example, if a Yadav goes to meet Yadav, obviously that the rapport would be somewhat different than let's say a Modi meeting a Yadav, or it's just I'm just quoting an example. So here, now that it is out, it also gives BJP a food for thought. Food for thought. Now, of course, Prime Minister has said that whatever the opposition is aiming to divide the country, but we all know where this is coming from. How true, if at all the caste census is true, it definitely, it
opens the debate of the 50% quota that we have been having since 1992. And I was reading it in the Tribune that it's asking a very important question here, that is it a start of Mandal 2 politics? The Mandal committee that we know has been going on, and the Tribune is covering it, and they have quoted all the important leaders. So you can see what Modi had to say. He said that they played with the emotions of the poor and divided society on caste lines. They are committing this sin even now. So the opposition BJP is saying that they are trying to create a divide. Bihar Deputy CM Tejasvi Yadav has come out and he said that this is a milestone that they are achieving. We have achieved a milestone. It not only has caste-based data but also highlights economic status of the people, which is also very important. But then we have BJP MP from Bihar who is saying that caste survey is an eyewash. The state government is cheating people by releasing data based on only few castes. So now the BJP is coming out and they are protecting themselves. They are saying that this caste census is not exactly true, because they are not including all the castes. But we have to understand, Neha, that this dominant caste, even in when we talk about backward classes as well, and the so-called, the forward caste, that is the general category that is in there, it accounts for only 15%. So the reservation politics is going to be the debate on the 50%, because that is what we have been going through again and again in other states as well. If you talk about Marathas in Maharashtra, if you talk about Patels in Gujarat, if you talk about Kapus in Andhra Pradesh, they have all been dealing with the same thing, that they cannot, because that is why the quota to the Maratha quota row that we have been covering for so long, the Maratha quotas, they were denied reservation because they were exceeding the limit of 50%.
The protests are still happening in Maharashtra, and they have also taken quite a violent turn. And like you rightly said that of course in Maharashtra also we have had this. So in almost every state, there has been certain demands, like you rightly said.
And I think it's going to be a good move, and it's going to give Nitish Kumar a good strong foot ahead of
not only Nitish Kumar, well, it gives the entire opposition, as I said, that a chance to work on the, now it's a golden opportunity, given just 9 months away from the election. 2024 elections are due. Now you have the caste-based census with you. How true is it that that obviously we'll know as the time passes? But if it all
interestingly, when the women reservation bill came in, the debate, when the opposition started demanding for the caste census, I knew that this is going to be one of the issues for before, going to be a proper major issue for the India bloc to fight in the Lok Sabha 2024 elections, because it's the soft nerve of BJP. Because caste census has always been a touchy topic for the BJP, and I think India bloc is going to use it properly. And I was talking about here, it's written in the Indian Express as well, that underlining the need to ensure efficiency in administration, the Supreme Court in its 1992 decision in the Indra Sane versus Union of India had fixed the 50% ceiling for reservation. Now we are saying that in Bihar around 63% are OBC. So how are you going to give reservation? They have been, JDU and RJD have been asking, they are going out and they are protesting that exceed the limit, extend the limit a little bit, because 50% is not the reality. 15% of SC/ST cards are not the actual representation. It is going to exceed in states like Bihar, in states like Maharashtra and in Gujarat, where Patel community, Kapu community in Andhra Pradesh, they are all suffering from the same issue, because they exceed the population, because the caste there is no caste census. The caste census has not been conducted properly under the BJP regime. So they are asking that we now have the facts, we now have the numbers. Now the Supreme Court or the High Court, we are going to Supreme Court, we are going to High Court, and we are going to ask them to extend this limit, because this is something that JDU and RJD have been moving their politics around it.
And
from
like
the
you
beginning.
rightly said, that the opposition has in fact been making these caste census and other backward classes sub-quota. In the women reservation law, it's been a major issue.
Definitely.
Now, of course, the Congress also has, thrown its weight behind the demand, with Rahul Gandhi saying that, he kind of regretted 100% that the UPA did not include the OBC, sub-quota in the women's bill of 2008. So, of course, now, as we were discussing that, it's Rahul Gandhi also who, among the other opposition parties who have demanded that there is a need for nationwide caste census. So, let's see how it has been covered by the Times of India. So, it says that the Bihar count shows the need for a nationwide exercise. Rahul Gandhi said, aiding jitni abadi utna hak is Congress's pledge. The party has lately made caste census and removal of 50% quota cap its campaign planks. So, like we were mentioning, it doesn't really stop with one. Now there is a need for, there will be further many more issues that will kind of, come along with it. Now there is the opposition India bloc saying that what we need is that we need a nationwide
caste census, and that is what I'm saying, that this issue is served in a gold platter to the India bloc, because caste census is something that especially in states like Bihar, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, where there is a good amount, the backward classes, the OBC, they account for they constitute a good amount of the population. So it's going to be the important debate, and the debate that has been going on since 1992 is back on the newspapers, because now I was reading in the Indian Express, it says that Mandal parties hope for second wind as BJP looks to build backward bastion. So, less than 9 months to the general election, Bihar's caste release Monday comes amid an increasing chorus of caste as a factor of political empowerment and representation. The opposition has made the caste census and other backward classes sub-quota in the women's reservation law a major issue. That is what I was saying, you know, when we were talking about the women's reservation bill. Each opposition party, they came out and they talked about it, that why the OBC women are not being represented in the women reservation bill. And this is what the Rahul Gandhi, he said that Congress too has thrown its weight behind the demand, with Rahul Gandhi saying that he regretted 100% that the UPA did not include the OBC sub-quota.
2008, right.
In 2008.
I just
yeah, in 2008.
That. So also, you know, they have been saying that it is the nationwide census to be carried out to ensure social justice.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to quickly read how it has been covered. In fact, citing the findings of the Bihar Caste survey, leaders of the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance yesterday reiterated their demand for conducting a countrywide caste census to ensure social justice to the deprived classes. In the run-up to the Lok Sabha election next year, parties belonging to the India bloc have made the demand for a caste census and OBC outreach their most visible political strategy. At the India meeting in Mumbai, former Congress chief Rahul Gandhi had said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's claim of being a champion of the other backward classes was one of the wrong perceptions that the bloc should unveil. So here, unravel, beg your pardon. So, you know, their India bloc now citing the Bihar data and asking for a nationwide survey, and Rahul Gandhi saying, you know, there are these opposition leaders in fact saying that the demand for the countrywide caste census should be carried out to ensure social justice to the deprived classes. We know that, you know, they want to hide behind the so-called social justice. We know what's the real motive, and, you know, it's politics. Of course, you can't really kind of, you know, take that part away from it. It's been called so-called caste-based census, but we also know deep down why it has been, you know, carried out.
Definitely, and you have to, notice how the Congress is changing its side, because Congress used to never talk about, you know, OBCs, because when we were talking about women's reservation bill, it was presented by 2008 by Congress. It was again represented by in 2010 as well, and they did not include OBC at that time. So you know, and BJP recently in the parliament discussion also pointed out the hypocrisy behind it. They said that why not, why are these you know, why Congress is now opposing, because when they were in power, when they had to propose the bill, they also did not care about the OBC, and they did not also care about the representation of the OBC caste. So, and you know, this is what exactly the Tribune has covered correctly. They are saying that real politics behind Congress's caste census and the OBC push, they are also saying that, you know, the support, this shift has come recently. It was in May 2022 that the Congress, on a losing spree across state, officially backed the demand for a caste-based census for the first time. So I think Congress realized that, you know, the national issues that we were focusing on is not going to help now. So they changed their political agenda. They suddenly became the messiah for the OBC caste, and they started like, you know, this is important, this is something that is that needs to be addressed, because that is what the BJP was lacking in. You know, that kind of caste census support, that limelight that should be given, and the you know, the consideration that should be given to the backward classes was something that I think BJP, the politics of the BJP was missing. So I think Congress really picked it out, and, you know, after joining the India bloc alliance, they were like, you know, this is something that is important, and this is something that we can approach the backward classes, especially in states like Bihar, where they constitute for more than 60% according to the, if we believe the latest survey of Bihar. And it's correctly saying that the support for the call of conventionally associated with the Mandal parties, that is the JDU, RJD, SP and the DMK, was stated firmly in the Congress's Udaipur Chintan Shivir declaration in May 2022. After that, in the same declaration, the Congress also in a first issued past reservation to the Socialist Party's demand for the quota within quota under the women's reservation bill recently. So that is what I was saying, that, you know, in the women's reservation bill, when they were talking about you know, bringing the quota, the hypocrisy was very clear, very evident. You know, they came out and they said that why are you not including OBCs, why are you not including SC and STs? But the BJP said that when it was your time, you also did not include the OBC, you did not include the SC, ST. So I think that is something very interesting to see Congress shifting their focus and suddenly becoming the messiahs of the OBCs and the STs, and they are like, you know, this is something important that you guys have been missing out.
Always remember the election is coming. Well, of course, you know, the Congress, SP and Aam Aadmi Party among others have welcomed the move, but also taking a look at some of the other, in fact, stories of from today. Well, it says that we are getting a very sad news, in fact, from Maharashtra, where 12 newborns among 24 have died in 24 hours in Maharashtra government hospital. Let's quickly take a look at what exactly has happened here. Now, I'm reading from the Times of India, where it says that the Nanded Civil Hospital reported 24 deaths, including those of 12 newborns between Saturday and Sunday, sparking concerns over its facilities and a Maharashtra government probe. State Medical Education Minister Hassan Mushrif said of the 12 children, 6 had been admitted to Dr. Shankar Rao Chavan Government Medical College and Hospital, Nanded, more than 2 days ago, while the remaining 6 minors were hospitalized 24 hours ago. He says 7 were critical patients, 2 patients died due to snake bite and poisoning. The hospital has adequate staffers and officials would soon visit it. Hospital superintendent also spoke to the Times of India, and he said of the 12 newborns who died, 6 were girls. 8 of the newborns died within 0 to 3 days of their birth, while 4 were referred in critical condition from private health hubs, including some from the neighboring districts. Now, here, in fact, a senior official has also said that 70 critical patients were currently admitted to the civil hospital, and on average 10 to 12 deaths were reported daily at the hospital. That's in fact grim news coming in from Maharashtra. And what exactly would have happened here? Well, the probe is currently underway. The hospital would try its best to say that they were not at fault, the administration was not at fault, but what exactly has happened here? And it definitely should be investigated. 12 newborns have lost their lives. There are many other people. 24 people have lost their lives in 24 hours. It's like in a day you lose 24 people at a place where you're supposed to save lives. So what exactly has happened? Now, in fact, the probe is currently underway, and the stock of the situation has been, the ministry, the Maharashtra government, the cops are also on on the job. The Maharashtra government has also taken the stock of the situation to understand how has exactly how did this happen. Well, and it also says that average of 10-12 deaths are reported daily.
Well, Neha, to be very honest right now and being very candid right now, I think it's complete. There is nothing to get investigated on. It's a complete failure of the authorities responsible. There is no maintenance of the government hospitals. We have been seeing the conditions of government hospital that has been going on in various states. It's just not Maharashtra. Any government hospital you go to, people are scared of getting admitted in government hospitals because the facilities are just not there. And I was just reading about it, and when I was reading about the story, the dean is saying something else and the hospital is saying something else. The dean is coming out and he's saying that we do not have enough medicines, we do not have enough infrastructure, we do not have enough facilities to cater to the needs of these patients. We were trying our best, we were buying medicines from the local markets because we were out of medicines. Then the hospitals comes out and they provide an official statement. They are saying, no, the dean is lying. There is we have enough medicines available to us. We have enough facilities available to us. So who is lying? Who is saying the truth? That is something that will go on forever and ever. But how are we going to compensate for the lives of 24 people and 12 infants who were 6 males and 6 females? I mean, this kind of atrocity that has been going on in the in government hospitals. Maharashtra government just made headlines, but there are cases like that are happening in the government hospitals for the longest of times, and even the Hindustan Times have covered it. It says that 24 patients, including 12 infants, died at Maharashtra hospital in 24 hours. Santosh Pandagle, a member of the governing council of the medical college and hospital, said that the facility faces various problems like lack of staff, equipment issues and shortage of medicine. The hospital has a capacity of 500 bed but has 1200 patients. So obviously people are going to die. Obviously you are not going to be able to cater to people because your hospital has a capacity of 500 beds. and the patients admitted to that hospital are 1200. So how are you going to manage that is something that the government really needs to look forward to and get investigation that why is it happening, because hospital is a place where people go with the hope to get saved, not to get be unbothered, unattended at a hospital. And the government hospitals in our country have had a bad image because people are scared to get admitted. That is why the private hospitals are now, that is what affects the private hospitals. Now if you look at the bigger picture here, private hospitals are running a business in the name of admitting people to the hospital because there is lack of facility, because the situation of government hospitals is so worse. It was saying that many machines like the CT scanner are not working because there are no funds for the annual maintenance contracts. Several nurses and doctors have been transferred from here, but these posts are still vacant. There is a shortage of medicines too. We have raised this issue with the authorities several times in the past, but to no avail. The Congress hits out at the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party as always. The BJP government spends thousands of crores of rupees on its publicity, but there is no money for medicines for children. In the eyes of the BJP, the lives of the poor have no value. This was said by Rahul Gandhi on his Twitter account. His now X. He tweeted it out, and he's pointing out that the BJP, the funding is not there. The authorities, the people working there are coming out. The staff is coming out and saying that we do not have enough facilities. We do not have beds for a hospital.
Of course, that is true. I'm not taking that away from you, but the fact of the matter also is that it could also be a negligence on part of the hospital administration. Like
that is what they're saying. They're saying we don't have funding, we don't have facilities, so we are going to neglect the patients. We don't have any facility with us. It's a government hospital.
There might be more to what meets the eye, of course. But we also take a look at some of the other stories of this hour, and we go back to what's been happening in this tiny northeastern state of India, Manipur, which has remained on the edge since the 3rd of May. That's when an ethnic conflict broke out between these two communities, the Meiteis and the Kukis, and ever since there is no normalcy in the state. The state has been burning. Over 150 people have lost their lives. 3,000 and above people, in fact more than 3,000 people have been injured. People have lost their literally everything. And now in the latest, when we were seeing normalcy slowly making a return in this in Manipur, that's when a photograph of two students aged 17 and 20 went viral on various social media platforms. Now what is the background to this story? The background to this story is that these two students, in fact, they went missing in the month of July, and that's when their parents, in fact, were hoping for their safe return. They went to tuition and they were on their return. While in fact returning on their way back, they accidentally stepped into the Kuki territory, and they were reportedly killed by the Kuki people. 4 people in this regard, including 2 women, have been arrested, and the internet was restored in Manipur on the 23rd of September. But on 27th of September, soon after the pictures of these 2 students went viral on social media, they believed to have been murdered by the Kuki terrorists. Their photographs went viral, and there you can see on your screens fresh unrest being witnessed in Manipur. Now, what's been happening in Manipur in regards to this latest development? I'm going to quickly read out how the Times of India has covered it. Well, it says that Manipur tribal areas are observing Bandh, seeking release of 4 arrested. Do remember that these 4 people who have been arrested, the Kuki Zomi community is in fact saying that they have not been arrested, but they have been abducted. Now, they were taken from Manipur to Guwahati via a special flight. That's where they will be interrogated, and that's where the CBI will carry out the interrogation. But in the meantime, there are people from the Kuki Zomi community now staging a protest and saying that it is not an arrest, but it is an abduction. Now, what exactly has been happening? It says that several tribal organizations called a bandh on Monday in Manipur's Churachandpur against the arrest of 4 people over the disappearance and alleged killing of 2 Imphal students, even as a special court in Guwahati granted the CBI 5-day custody of the suspects. The dawn to dusk bandh for the release of the 4 crippled life in the tribal inhabited district. The 4 are in fact Haukip and Samal Swam Haukip, and 2 women, Baitikuki and Henthang. Now, they were flown to Assam after their arrest on Sunday, the protesters are also demanding the release of another resident, Chandanpur resident, arrested by the NIA over allegations of a transnational conspiracy. In fact, there are so many aspects to this story. Where, first and foremost being that Manipur is a bordering state. So who's really peddling the unrest? But at the same time, where does the responsibility really, where does it fall? Like, it of course lies with the state government, most importantly. But Chief Minister Biren Singh, who has attempted to, step down, he was, stopped by the Metis community, women who said that, no, we need your support, we need you to be out there. But now there is another conspiracy that is making a comeback. It is like, the unrest in Manipur is being peddled by Bangladeshi and Myanmar Kuki terrorists, Kuki militants, in association with those militants who are in Manipur. So that is what, the Chief Minister, that's what Chief Minister Biren Singh has said. But the question, Nancy, is, does that take away the fact that it's been 3 months and still Manipur continues to burn? Why is it that Biren Singh has not been able to, get control of the state and ensure that normalcy makes a comeback? Why do we why do we elect these leaders? We elect them so that they could safeguard us.
Definitely.
What is happening in Manipur?
Well, Neha, I definitely understand your frustration right now, because we have been covering the news for more than 3 to 4 months now, and suddenly some incident happened that triggers the whole community, that triggers the whole nation, that shocks the whole nations, that why is it happening, why is it being allowed to happen. The protest and everything is just a retaliation. We are, the protests that are happening, people going out, marching, the women, Metis women marching out. I think that is not the issue. They have to protest, they have to, because it's their state. And when you live in a state and when you see pictures of 16-year-old, your classmates, your people who you hang out with come out like this, that they have been killed, and people are sharing it on social media like there is no law and order that exists in the universe that they live in. I think it's scary, so they have to go out, they have to protest. I think that is something important. But before I get more into it, I have some latest on the Manipur. It says that the Guwahati court grants CBI 5-day custody of accused held in killing of 2 youths in Manipur. So that the Guwahati court has come out and they are saying that a special court in Guwahati has granted the CBI 5-day custody of the 4 accused arrested in the connection with the probe into the cases of the 2 missing Manipuri students believed to have been killed by officials said on Monday. And similarly, Manipur's tribal group threatens indefinite shutdown, protesting arrest by the central agencies. They are saying that the Manipur's Kangokpi-based tribal organization, the Committee on the Tribal Unity, that has been, one of the active organization, on Monday threatened to launch an indefinite shutdown in the district if the center failed to immediately release all those arrested by central agencies over the last 3 days, condemning the arrest of the 4 people by the CBI in connection with the killing of the 2 Manipuri youths. Committee of the Tribal Unity in a statement on Monday said that the committee serves a 48-hour ultimatum to the Union Home Ministry to direct the central agencies to immediately release all the arrested tribals and initiate an investigation of Metis criminals. So, on the one hand, the Guwahati court is saying that, please go ahead, the CBI, you have 5 days, do the investigation, look into the matter and get the people arrested. Then you have the civilian, the community, the tribal, the community of tribal unity. They are coming out and they are saying that this is not something that is acceptable. Release all the people who you arrested in the case, in the investigation, because this is something that, this is the war that we were talking about, that there is no trust left. There is a big trust deficit in the state. The civilians are not trusting the security forces. They are not trusting the CBI. They are not letting the police. They are not cooperating with the police, because the moment something happens, police arrest criminals, and then we have the communities. They are saying that we are going to, get a complete shutdown in the city if you guys don't release the people you are arresting. So this kind of vicious cycle will go on, and the question of normalcy will get, lost in this vicious cycle. That once you are blaming the government, then the government arrests the people, and then the committee will come out and say, though they are civilians, they are just protesting. How are you arresting them?
It is not even, they're not even saying, see, the problem is that they're not even ready to listen to the security forces, and hence the trust deficit issue comes out. For example, these, the CBI has arrested these 4 people. So the right way to go about it would have been, they have committed a crime. Let the CBI carry out, its investigation.
They don't trust the CBI.
But they are of the view that CBI or, the state machinery or the central government has abducted these 4 people. So, of course, like you rightly said, there is trust deficit, and it will take a long road, I believe, before, we make our way towards normalcy, especially in Manipur. But now moving on to some big news that we are getting now. This Delhi police, in fact, has Delhi police special cell has raided journalists linked to News Click. The news site has been facing an ED probe under PMLA. Now, this News Click offices have been raided in the past as well. In fact, just in August 2023, they were raided. Now, News Click has been accused of promoting Chinese propaganda. That's in fact, the news site has been facing an ED probe under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And just in fact, August 2023, they were also, the News Click office was also raided by the ED. Now, here we believe that several journalists working with News Click have been, in fact, they are currently, their houses are being raided. Now, in fact, the searches took place this morning in connection with the allegations that they received funds from China. Now, do remember that this is in fact an allegation that has been leveled against News Click in the past as well. And in fact, the ED in August 2023 alleged that the News Click obtained fraudulent foreign funds to the tune of 86 crore rupees. And in fact, this all came from a person who goes by the name of American billionaire Nevalny Roy Singham, who is said to be, who closely works with the Chinese government. So now here cut to October 2023, the Delhi Police Special Cell has also raided journalists linked to News Click. Well, Nancy, the News Click has remained in the news on and off. In 2021, in fact, also, they were raided. And in August 2023, they were raided. Now, again, they're being raided. There is no smoke without fire. What do you say?
Definitely. I mean, and the allegations that are being put on News Click is not also something that can be, brushed off under the carpet. They are saying that they are promoting Chinese propaganda right now. So, the investigation really needs to get done. They need to get to the crux of it. And you correctly pointed out that News Click has always been on the headlines. They have always been, controversial because of the way they cover the news, because of the way they, propose a propaganda in their news. So, that is something that you need to get to the crux of the matter. But I think the investigation has been going on. We just have to wait and watch to see what the investigation is going to uncover or unravel, because despite the past allegations on the News Click, no actions has been taken out. But right now it seems like they have raided the house of journalists who are linked in the News Click. So I think that is something, the allegations are also serious. Then we talk about journalism, freedom of press and everything. But to, fabricate a news in a way, or to manipulate your audience in a way that they feel, you are clouding judgment of a mass. So you have to understand your responsibility as a news organization, as journalists, because we are the 4th pillar of the democracy. And if you, if allegations like this, that you are promoting Chinese propaganda comes out, I mean, it's a serious allegation. I mean, I hope that police have some evidence, some basis to ED to probe this investigation. So I think we just have to wait and watch and to see what happens, what is revealed about the News Click, what what new outcome and new information we get after this investigation is something that is going to be really interesting to see, Neha.
Right. Well, Nancy, also taking a look at some of the other stories of this hour, one can go on discussing about it, for hours and hours. But due to the shortage of time, we quickly move on to the other story, which is China border posts to have additional intel personnel. Now, here, border posts of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police along the India-China frontier from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh will have an additional team of intelligence officers for surveillance and information gathering. Now, here, in fact, a highly placed source said the central government has approved a proposal for establishing the setup that will be known as the Border Intelligence Post. The, in fact, move bears significance in view of the increased Chinese activities along the border and transgressions by China's People's Liberation Army. That's how it has been covered, in fact, in the Times of India. And I think it was about time that, you know, the Indian government took such a step.
Definitely.
Given that, you know, what China has been up to lately, especially since 2020 March.
Yeah.
You know, when it first set its foot in the Indian territory and tried to stake claim to some of the some of India's territory there in Ladakh. So now here, in fact, the highly placed source has told PTI that the central government has approved a proposal for establishing the setup that will be known as the Border Intelligence Post. That's what it'll be called, and the move bears significance in view of the increased Chinese activities. Yeah. It's a move in a step in the right direction, Nancy, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, that is what we were talking about, the new India, which is not going to get bullied by China, and its strategy is to, you know, just expand their territorial, you know, boundaries without any reference, just be bully, set up extra military forces at the border area and do nothing about it, just there sitting there threatening us. I mean, that is not something that India is going to take anymore. We are going to retaliate. And, you know, I was reading about it that it says that each of the BIPs will be manned by 4 to 5 officials of the Intelligence Bureau and protected by ITBP personnel. The source in the know of the development said on the condition of anonymity, those personnel who would be deployed at the BIP will keep an eye on activities across the border and share updates with the higher authorities and the government. So it's a big step from the Indian government that this is not, it's going to be a tight slap on China's face that, you know, the bullying that you are doing on the border areas, the, you know, the way you will include Aksai Chin in your map, that is not something that India is going to take anymore. We are going to retaliate. We are going to, you know, strong our fences. You come at us with your camps, your military camps.
It's not the old India is what you're saying, Nancy.
Definitely.
I get your point. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of today's show. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day ahead.
BrahMos, stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times the speed of sound and cuts through a warship like a hot knife through butter. China's navy has threatened its neighbors, and they are turning to the BrahMos for protection. The Warship Killer. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं क्योंकि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं.
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
कोटा जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन की चाह में.
ऑल इंडिया का बच्चा कोटा जाता है.
This rat race is for rats, not for humans. So why should we even be a part of it?
The Rat Race. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
Telling stories is in our nature, but the way we say them has changed. Storytelling is an art going on since inception.
If you engage with people, if you tell stories well, if you make history interesting, if you make your novels thrilling, if you write beautifully, you will get an audience.
Some writers find inspiration in tragedy.
I'm looking at grim things about Sri Lanka, but also with the absurdity, you can see the funny side and at least use some black humor to.
While others believe in drama.
I believe in plot, and I believe in suspense, and I believe in, you know, making the reader, giving the reader a reason to turn the page.
Then there are those wordsmiths who leave it to the Almighty.
I believe it's the blessings of Lord Shiva. I think that's why I received this success.
This is the story of storytelling.
From reading classic novels like Hemingway's Old Man and the Sea to seeing a story on Instagram, the consumption of storytelling has come a long way.